fast forward a little bit and COVID vaccines come out and Berks County gets left behind. All the other counties in the area are getting vaccinated. And Kristen Hartzell, who's my my mentor for Flip the Pharmacy, sent me an article. Hey, Commissioner Leinbach said, pharmacists can only do 20 vaccinations a day. I'm like, okay, well, you're right. Maybe in a day, that's all I could do. But I'm going to see if I get a hold of him. So I made a few phone calls and I got a meeting with him maybe within, I think it was like 45 minutes.
Wow. All right. Okay.
Yeah. But what I had though in my back pocket was we did a presentation about how we would utilize the churches and other organizations in the community to have a call center for the seniors.
Okay.
So we had mapped out who the call centers were, the 1-800 numbers, how it was going to look, and how it would translate to an event. And when I called Commissioner Leinbach, I said, you are absolutely right. In my day, I probably 20, 30 vaccinations. He's like, oh, really? I thought you were going to be upset at me. I'm like, no, I'm not upset at you because you are right. But what you don't know is me as a pharmacist in my community with my wife, who's also a pharmacist, we know we can roll out more. I bet you we could roll out 3,500 in a Sunday.
Oh, wow.
He's like, well, how do you know that? I'm like, because I know my community. I know my resources. I've already communicated with the local school district. We have a place, we have the volunteers, and with the means of registering all the seniors that don't have technology.
Is that kind of what your call center part is about? That hey, I can't navigate a website very well, or I don't even have the technology to do it. Give me a place to call so that they can walk through it, and you guys can talk them through it.
No, we actually did the registering. Okay, we actually did the consent forms online. We registered for home visits. We did it all that way. So he asked me to send the PowerPoint presentation to him. I sent it, and he had a meeting with Governor Wolf, I think, at noon that day. So I didn't hear back, but the next day I was at a COVID event doing whatever vaccinations I did have for personal care. And I opened up PACIS portal and I'm like, oh, I got 1,000 doses. Like, okay. I'm like, maybe that's for just, my second doses. But next week I got 2,000 and the week after that I got 3,500.
Wow. All right.
So on a Sunday we were able to do 3,500.
Wow.
And that's largely due to, the registration on the front end, but also navigating Pioneer on the back end. So, I was talking to Stephanie about this the other day. When my wife and I are immunizing, we're there in the trenches. But what people don't realize is that you guys there, Stephanie McGrath in Pittsburgh, Kristen Hartzell in, Lehigh County, you guys are all impacting my community here. You guys are impacting the health of my patients. So us talking and having conversations, it just benefits us nationally and globally if we just learn to respect what we have to offer. I've learned so much from so many different people now that it's rewarding and it's exciting. None of us have it all carved out.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's funny. We've talked to, probably 20 different pharmacists now that have their own flavor of how they conquered the COVID vaccination pieces in their communities. And they're all a little bit different. They all have that same kind of thread of like, man, we'll just figure it out. And there's some kind of elegance to that where you're like, you all solved the same problem in different ways, but the common thread of like, I reached out, I asked for help, I talked to people, I reached out to my community. This whole thing just showed how important it is to just be a part of a community and have people that you can rely on for those kind of situations.
Well, I think it's the art of conversation. It's listening as well as the talking. Sometimes we're missing the nuances of the language and then we miss out on the bigger conversation. Same way when we consult a patient. If we're not going to talk to them in their language, they're going to miss it. So when I'm talking to my peers, I take the same flavor. We all have the same struggles. We all have the DIR fees and we all have the same, issues. But, if we learn to just talk and understand that we're not competing for each other, we want each other to succeed.
So first of all, I'm impressed you had a PowerPoint ready to even click send in the email already.
Mm-hmm.
So one, that was smart. So you got off the phone. Did you hear back from the commissioner about after going, hey, this is why you got so many doses? What was that story? What was that conversation like after you heard back?
We still talk, and we don't have a county health center in Berks County. So we use emergency services. So he and Brian, we would have weekly calls on, vaccination efforts and vaccine hesitancy, because it's so prevalent in Berks County even still.
Okay.
And he wants to know how I'm conquering vaccine hesitancy. And I think we're not shaming anybody when they come in and want to talk to us.
Sure.
We just talk to them about the facts and making sure that they're aware not to go to social media, rely on your health professionals, don't go to, even news is kind of piecemealed information. You need to, trust that we are wanting the best for our community, and that, the information that's given to us, that we're giving it to them in a way that they could absorb and take, and making sure it's not political. I mean,
yeah.
And, if somebody tells me I'm pulling out chips, I couldn't have pulled out 55,000 chips prior to an event. I just, if I sat there, I'd be, I don't even know. I wouldn't be on this podcast right now.
Hey, my 5G reception has gone.
I know. I
really
I
well.
feel like my cell signal is so much better now.
I wish that were true, actually.